Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the progress report for January 2025. It's going to be a little different this time. I really didn't do my same stuff, but you'll see why when we kind of dive into the ink. I have a lot of really fun ink distractions. So I have my usual pens. Let's see. Okay, so I started with 8, but then I added 1. So I have 9 that I did grade. But I didn't take each one of these and do a page. I took the ones where it was a new ink for me. And there's even a couple that I probably should have done that I didn't. Like this was a new combination for me, but still I really cut corners because frankly I was behind on my pen pal letters, and that's been the top priority. You know, what I mean is when I have time at my pen desk, my pen pal letters have kind of risen to the top so that I could begin to catch up. And so anyway, I think that's enough with the excuses. It's been a really busy time, but it's been fun too. And the month is not over. So as we film this, it's the 16th of January, 2025. So I'm already a day behind my normal schedule. But let's just take each one of these, and I do have the ink tiles and the pens here. So the first combination was my new Bennu Euphoria, which is, I'm calling it Edward. It's the vodka on the rocks with a broad nib, and I put Pilot Azalea in it, and no surprise, it's an A++. It's excellent. I have used this ink in a broad nib before by Schmidt, so it's sort of cheating, but it's my favorite ink. One of them, one of my top favorites, so I wanted it to be the first ink I put in my new Christmas birthday pen, so it's just been wonderful. But I didn't outline this one because I've used the ink quite a bit, so you've already seen, if you've been around here, you've seen a lot about Pilot Azalea. Okay, so then the next combination was the TWSBI Diamond 580 Iris with a broad nib, and I used J. Arbonne Porcelain de Lune. Now, it's kind of coming out, or it's looking darker in the nib to me, but I gave it an A, and I'm not as crazy, though, about the color as I thought I was in the beginning, so I'm sort of wondering about that little bottle of ink. Let's see. I'm just kind of wondering if maybe it's darkened over time and maybe I'm not quite storing it properly. It's still pretty, but it's darker than I remembered. So it got an A. That's still great. And it's still very smooth to write with, and it's just fine. There's great flow, no problems whatsoever. Okay, then the next pen is the Narwhal Original Plus with a broad nib. And I put Sailor Gentle Grenade. Now, I've had a few issues with it, but as soon as I wrote that down and then I started writing again, I had no issues at all. So I'm thinking I have a lot of pens inked up, and that'll happen sometimes if I'm not what I call exercising them all enough, then things can get a little bit, you know, this is a highly I was going to say sheening ink, but definitely it's never given me trouble in any other pen. So I was surprised at B+. I don't know. I think probably today I would call it an A. But I just every once in a while when I pick it up, it's a little bit dry. But that's a very odd thing for this ink. So I'm not going to, I either should have said incomplete or A, because, yeah, and that was because I held it at a funny angle. So anyway, I've been enjoying it because I just make sure before I start my letter that it's flowing properly. But I hadn't had any trouble like that with this one before. So not with the ink or with the pen with other inks. So who knows? But, you know, part of it is if I'm going full speed ahead without taking the proper time, you know, to see just exactly what's happening, then I really shouldn't be grading these very harshly. So next, oh my, this is another A++. This Hongdian Black Forest with the Fude nib is one of my favorite pens, and it's primarily because I just love Hongdian's Fude nibs. They write so nicely, but this is a particularly great ink for it. It's the Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikabu. And it's excellent. I haven't had any trouble. Let's see how we're doing with it. Let's see. Okay, so it's almost, yeah, I've used almost a whole converter, and I'm not surprised because one of my other pens I had to refill. I'll tell you about that when we get there. So, excellent. No problems whatsoever with that. And then next up was the little Kaweco Brass Sport with a double broad nib, and I'm writing with it without posting it because it's really heavy with this part, you know, with the cap on it. And so far I've done just fine with that. With the Sailor 50 States Texas, and I give it an A+. That's one of my favorite inks, and the Kaweco double broad nibs, when they're good, and which this one is, they're so excellent. I have no complaints. Yeah, this pen is heavy, so I've had a few thoughts about that, but I know myself and I need to give myself more time with it to really, you know, judge whether it's going to be a keeper for me. I think it is. Okay, so next up was the Opus 88 demonstrator from, I wish I could say this the way Simone says it, I think, right, and I've tried to listen and do it right, but Stilo and Steels. Anyway, I can't. I'm not very good at pronouncing their company, but it is an exclusive from the pen company in Italy. And let's see, I think it's printed right on the body of the pen, but you can't really read it in this lighting. Anyway, this is one of my favorites, and I do have a broad nib in it, and I put in Pilot Iroshizuku Shōro, a beautiful teal, and it's an A+. No problems. I pick it up. Of course, I leave the little ink valve, or the, you know, I leave it open, so I'm ready to write at all times. Unless I'm going to put it in a pen case, but right here on my desk, it's ready to go. Okay, then the next pen, this is the one I wrote it dry completely, a whole converter full. So you could tell I really like it. This is the Nemesine Singularity Coral something, Coral, with a broad nib, and Jayarbon Eclat de Sapphire. It's gorgeous, and it's been such a bright, cheerful ink. Oh, I got a text. That it's just pretty. It's so pretty, and I've been enjoying it. So I refilled it because I didn't have enough ink to even do the grading. And it's A++, definitely. If you get, in 15 days you refill it, you know that something's going on there. Unless it's leaking, but it wasn't leaking, so. Okay, so next up is my Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne with a broad nib. And this is Van Diemen's Aurora Australis. Now, this is one that I did do a special page on because it's a new to me ink. And I wanted to really do a paper. So this was from pen friend JD. It came with, there was another ink too. Okay, so these two came together. Royal Starfish, which is purple, and then Aurora Australis, which seems to be more pink. Or pinky purple. And, okay, so this one, I think I was too harsh on this one as well. I said runs dry. I'm going to hold that up so you can see. This is the kind of thing I was getting quite a bit. You see the R there? I was getting that quite a bit, but I think, too, I need to be fair to these pens because I have quite a few inked up at the same time. So, you know, what I would call just either a hard start, I think that's what you'd call that. Not anything to worry about, because after that, everything was fine. But that isn't something I run into with many of my pens these days. So I'm thinking it's probably the ink because I hadn't run into it with anything else. Now, this has incredible amount of sheen, and that is another factor that can affect that. So keeping in mind that this is a new to me ink, it's gorgeous though. It's well worth tinkering with and making sure that I do proper pen hygiene to be able to use it. And you'll see that when we get to the page. Oh, and then next up, I was watching Simone's little video about using Pilot parallel nibs, and I will go ahead and link that here in case you missed it, because it was a lot of fun. And I always knew that you could get the Pilot parallel into the Opus 88 demonstrators because Aziza over at Gourmet Pens did a video, and I converted one of my clear Opus 88 demonstrator, and I love it. In fact, I think I got the same. I think I've got another 3.0 or 3.8 Pilot Parallel in that one, and I leave it right in that clear one because I love it so much. But I had not, I mean, I think somebody mentioned this to me, but I hadn't really I thought, oh, how would you do that? And I didn't ever really get around to it. So to find that it was so easy to just screw out the other one and put this in, it fit perfectly. I've had no issues at all. I think the only issue I've had with converting this little Moonman Mini to with a Pilot Parallel nib is that I picked Noodler's Cactus Fruit Eel, and it's a very fire hose type ink. Now, I think I could have gotten by with a different ink a little better because it's laying down so much ink that, like it does this number where it kind of, it bled through the 68 GSM to my river paper. I don't think I've had that problem on the CVS Caliber though, but I gave it an A because this is, oh boy, this is fun. And I had two of these clear ones that I was not really using as much because I felt like I'd stained one of them. So I'm using my green swirl and my purple swirl Moonman Mini more, and anyway, I didn't want to put broad nibs on the clear ones because I'm already all set with the pink and the purple there. So anyway, I did another one, but I didn't use it yet. So this other one that I did, by her technique, which like I said, I will link her video. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it showed all kinds of different pens that I didn't realize you could do this with. This is a 1.5. So now I have my two Moonman Minis that were clear, all completely going. So I have the pink one, the green one, and the purple one that I use all the time with broad nibs, and then these two. So that's a lot. That was a really fun project. And like I said, I haven't done a full page yet, but I've been using it with pen pal letters, so some of you will see boxes or little Happy New Year or something in your letter. Okay, so that was the last one of that. Let's go ahead and we'll just flip what I did do in here, but then we've got other ink journals to look into. Okay, so this first spread is kind of interesting. So what I'm doing here, I've got two more pens inked up. Big surprise. I've got the TWSBI Eco Broad Transparent Blue that I had put Hongdian Peacock Blue into. And I have a whole bottle of that. It's a big 60 ml bottle that I got with a gift certificate to the channel. It was one of the things I purchased because Wendy Sue said it was her favorite, and when I saw how it looked in her writing samples, I said, oh, I gotta have that. So anyway, then I got a little sample, which I've almost finished because it was 4 ml. I got 2 samples from Goulet of Pilot Iroshizuku Rikka.
I'll keep it over here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a magnet for phone calls when I start doing the videos. So this little sample came with I ordered it from Goulet with a gift card that I got for Christmas. So what I wanted to do was see a good comparison of these two inks. So let me move the pens, and we'll even move these because they're kind of in the way. But this is the deal. They're not exactly the same, of course. This is more teal in my eye, but then they're both such pretty inks. So let's look at them. I splatted with both of them, and I did the chromatography, and I did the water brush, with the same sort of thing. And I made a real mess here because I hadn't, anyway, something splashed from here up to here, and then I guess my stencil transferred, I don't know. Anyway, I was having quite the day. But they're both so pretty, but I have to say, if I had to pick between the two, it would be the Hongdian. I like this a lot. It's real saturated. It's got a lot of really pretty shading. And this has to do with what I'm using. Typically, I'll use a number 5 broad nib quite a bit. So it's not that far off. I mean, this one may be just a little thinner than this broad nib, but they're very close, and I think these are typically what I would write with. So anyway, I was really excited about this. Now let me show you, because the Pilot Rikka ink splat is very impressive. Let's see if I can Can you see that red? I always have to watch these to see what I actually showed you, but it's got a lot of really pretty red sheen. And then, of course, you get that on the Hongdian too, but it's a little different. Let's see. I had done one before Christmas of this. And this looked a little bit more like I might have used the proper amount of ink. And so it just didn't have the sheen that this does, though. This has a little bit of red sheen right in there and there. And I hope you're able to see it. But they are very different. At the same time, they made me think of each other. You know, the inks really are similar, too. So I was quite excited because, of course, this is just a sample. I don't need a bottle of this because I'm so happy with this, with the Hongdian Peacock Blue. Well, and other reasons, because I have other blue inks, too. Not too many in bottle form. Not so many blue. Mostly I'm a nut over purple, pink, and teal. But this is, oh my goodness, the shading I'm getting. It has a little bit of water resistance too, which gives it just not permanence. But you see that. You could see it compared with the Pilot Rikka, where how you could still see where the paintbrush left the dots quite a bit more. But anyway, I thought that was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed doing that. So that's 2 more pens to clean eventually. I'll try to write them dry. And then next I have, this was still drying. So this is, Van Diemen's Aurora. Let's see if I can find the tile. I just had it, didn't I? Yeah. This is the Van Diemen's Aurora Australis. And it is a splat, which is like a sheen monster. Look at that sheen. It's green. And then you can just barely see the ink color. But I got carried away, I think, with how I splatted it. So it took forever to dry. It was still drying when I didn't dare tape it in here yet. And I was pretty sure that would bleed right through this. So I just put it on some other Tomoe River paper. But anyway, here it is for a little writing sample. That was in the Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne with a broad nib. And I really like this. It's gorgeous. It's got some really nice complexity when you use a water brush. I'm thinking of artists, they will really like this, I think. Especially if they like, you know, purple, pinky, kind of that range. Let me hold that up. Especially on the P and the I, you can see, but the P, you can really see it. It's very reactive to a water brush. And so it says that it's, I guess it's part of the Night series. Yeah, so it's a 30 ml bottle, and just, wow, what fun. What a surprise that was when it came. Thank you very much to pen friend JD for sending the 2. I'm going to explore the starfish, royal starfish next. And that one looks like it has quite a bit of sheen on it too. But it's just been an ink explosion around here, so I'm going to show you. That's all that I did in my main ink journal. But maybe you'll see why when we flip over to the next 2 ink journals and I show you what else I've been up to. Okay, so I'm going to set up for that. Okay, so believe it or not, I'm still working on the Inkvent 2024, the samples that pen friend Cathie sent. Now, I have them all tiled up, and they're all on the website now because I sent the second set over to Matt at Ink Swatch, and he's gotten them on now. So we've got Colorverse and Diamine, both the Colorvent and the Inkvent are up on inkswatch.com. Oops, I can see I still have, I have a sample out. I'll have to find that. Oh dear. Is that this one? Yeah, okay, I don't want to lose that. It goes here. Anyway, I've only done 3 of them because I got a little distracted. So that'll be the last one that I show you. The last ink journal, I'll show you how I got so distracted. Anyway, I've been enjoying having them in here because there's no way I'm going to get too confused, I guess. I've got the tiles, I've got the samples. And we'll look at what I've done, but I'll show you. This is a Goulet Pens notebook, and it is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. And, okay, I started splatting. I didn't remember that this was shimmer. So when I remembered it was shimmer, I went back and mixed the ink, and oh dear. So my splat was half base color, well, more than half. This is all base color. This was Diamine Baltic Breeze. Let's see. I really ought to have the tile out because that's how I like to do it. Even though there's only 3 of them, we might as well. Okay, so this is the tile for that. And it is, they're calling it shimmer. Beautiful, real complex, and it's really pretty. So I ruined it because I had ink on the back that went through. So I've got to work out a few problems. I was used to using the Graphilo paper, and then all of a sudden back onto this, it really was a jolt, a difference. So here's the chromatography. Now this one was a little bit light for me, but it's still very pretty. Okay, then the next one, let's see, I'm going to make sure I don't really lose these, was Diamine Wilted Rose. I found that very low in saturation, but it had an interesting ink splat anyway. Just, well, pretty flat, but it's pretty. It's darker than what you get when you put it in a nib. I meant to say these 3 are all with the Serendipity, with a Knox broad nib. Where do I have that anyway? I think it's over by the sink. Oh, merciful heavens. If I could have like a full-time ink assistant, I would be just really happy. Okay. They'd have to work for ink samples or something, but okay. So yeah, there's no telling what I wrote about. I was pretty negative at this time too. That may be, I'm much better placed right now, but so don't read the writing, just look at it more for the color. It's a beautiful chromatography here. It's too light for me. I don't care for that, but you know, that's just a personal preference and not at all really anything to do with the ink itself. Okay, so next up is a beautiful green. This was Diamine Noble Fur, a shimmer ink. And it's just really nicely saturated. I was getting a lot of shading. The sparkle, oh, this was a Star Bright. Okay, I said shimmer, but technically Diamine is labeled this as Star Bright, and I can see why. It is gorgeous, and if you can see, I'm trying to, yeah, I think you can when I kind of come around. It really is showing up in so much of the writing, very nice and sparkly. I think they do a super job on those Star Brights. It's very pretty. So Diamine Noble Fur. Let's see, and there's the the very impressive splat. Just amazing. But this disappoints me that I only got this far, because this is the 16th, you know. But when we go to the library, I'll talk a little bit about what else has been going on around here. So, but in the meantime, I have another ink journal to kind of show you, just to give you a little glimpse of what was going on that definitely distracted me. So, okay. So for... I think for Christmas or my birthday, I'm not really sure. It was the same time frame, of course. I got a whole bunch of Tom's Studio samples. They came in these little things. Okay, so inside each one of these is a little 5mm ink bottle with a little eyedropper. And I got like 14 of them from Pen Friend AW for birthday, Christmas time. And they're just amazing. I transferred each one of them into the sample bottles because I didn't trust myself that I wouldn't make a really bad mess with these. Although these are really cute. And I like the little bottles, but I kind of felt like I'd be able to fill from these and sort of keep it as a collection, which I enjoy. Anyway, that obviously making all these tiles is a big distraction from working with the Diamine inks, but I will get back to those. In fact, I've been seeing Pen Friend Marilyn doing his, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Every morning I should, like, that should be my first thing. Anyway, there's been so much going on. But I'm proud of this part of it, the organizational part. And then I also did this mainly so I could show you. Let's see if I can get it in the frame. So this is another one of the Graphilo notebooks. Now, during, I guess it's not right here. I wonder where it went. The Christmas one. Anyway, I got all of the color vent into one of these, the exact same thing. It's a notebook, and it has you know, very faint lines that you can go by. But I decided, I love that paper so much that I decided to put these Tom's Studio ones in here. And I believe there'll be room for quite a few more. So these are the original 14 that I got. They came from Pen Friend AW. And then, and I put them all on here. And my two favorite are Iris and Raspberry so far. But I also, I mean, I'm eyeing the Emerald, and even this darker purple, the Damson, is beautiful, and Mariana's. I mean, they're all pretty. Oh, the Sunny Teal. They're all so pretty. I can't wait to get them into nibs. But as you can see, I have all those 9, 10, 11, and then I have a few more that I'm finishing from December. So then Pen Friend Cathie sent 3 more. So I've got Dove Gray, Neptune, and Mallard. And I thought, well, let's keep them all together. And so I even have those, you know, tiled now. I did those yesterday. So I've got all of the 17 that I have of Tom's Studio. So it's going to be a real study. Not only of each color, but of a brand that's brand new to me. So, yeah, so I've got the Sunny Teal, Raspberry Sorbet, Constellation, which at first I thought that was black, but it does look kind of like a midnight blue. And then Mulberry, which is a gorgeous, like dark burgundy. Strawberry Jam, a really bright red. And then Marmalade, kind of, I see it as orange, but I'm not sure. And then a purple Iris, which right away I went gaga for that one. And then Emerald, which is just a gorgeous green. Mariana's, okay, I think I might have misspelled it in here. Let's see. Where was that? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I remember adding the S somewhere. Okay, so a nice navy. And then New Forest Green. That's gorgeous. Oh, wow. Looks like it has a lot of sheen, too. And then Clementine, which looks like it will be dark enough in a nib. Kind of a really bright, like yellow-orange kind of. And then Damson, a beautiful purple. Lemon Yellow, which looks too light, but you never really know till you start getting these in a nib. And then Dove Gray, Neptune, and Mallard. So that is going to just be so much fun. You can just tell that I have been really, really rabbit holing it with all these inks. And so I think now that, let's see, I have four in my reply pile now. And one more. Yeah, so 5. So, yeah, mail comes in all the time, so I have to watch myself with counting. I think now the morning routine, I just was eager to start writing letter first thing in the morning, and that sort of bumped me right out of the ink studies. But I know myself, and I'll go right back into it. So I might have to adjust what I'm doing in here because this is, I will get ad money next week, and I'm thinking about getting another one of these because these poor inks aren't getting the same treatment unless I could do my splats on something else and then tape them in, which I always used to do. I'm asking too much of this paper just to splat on the back, and then it bleeds back through, see. So that's interesting. And I've had that happen too in my main journal. Let's see if we can find, this is the Bond Travel Gear 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, and I guess I gave up splatting in here because of that. But there's nothing I like better than splatting, so I'll find a way. I'll do a workaround. Oh, and I'm keeping up with this, but that's not a big brag because there's only 3. I have my main launching page in the main ink journal, so. Okay, so basically you can just see that there's a lot going on, a little bit of disorganization and a little bit of split attention. But let's go over to the library to talk about that. Here I am, such as I am. Okay, so I guess you could tell I really did have a lot of fun with my inks so far. You know, it's a little bit more than 2 weeks into the month, and this is when I always do my progress report, but I was sort of juggling back and forth between writing pen pal letters, checking out brand new really exciting inks. And, you know, because I chose to just do the Colorverse Color Vent in December and not try to do both the Diamine Inkvent and the Colorverse Color Vent, I'm sort of left in a you know, late kind of catch-up mode, but it's okay. I'm sure there are people that are going to be exploring those inks all year long, so I won't be the only one that's that's kind of off track or last to know kind of thing. But it's been a lot of fun. I really had fun with the Moonman Minis with that little hack, because I had sort of, someone mentioned that to me before, probably in the comment section of my own videos, but it just didn't stick, I guess. And then when Simone did the whole video on it and showed exactly how it looked and everything, now one of my Pilot Parallel nib units was really hard to put in to the Moonman Mini, and I don't think it'll ever come out, ever. But the other one was really easy to put in and take out, and I was quite pleased with how it fit. So that's just a little bit of manufacturing variance, I guess. And with those two clear ones, I really don't, it's okay. They'll be dedicated to that anyway, I think. And so I wouldn't do that with my purple one, because if I got a parallel nib stuck in it and I couldn't go back to using a broad nib, I wouldn't be too happy. But with the rest of it, I don't mind. So, and as far as other updates, I've really been scrambling to get really comfortable and familiar with Windows 11 on my PC, because I had to change it, and I didn't have any time at all. It was just boom, here we are with a new tower and Windows 11, and I had to put a lot of priority on that, because I need to scan documents in and be ready to deal with, of course I have a thumb drive with all of Mom's important paperwork, but it comes, more paperwork comes all the time that I have to sign, scan back in, send back. So, you know, those little things are different when you have a routine, and I'm really fast on something that I've used for 8 years, you know. But there was just no excuse to keep using Windows 7, because yeah, we don't want problems. We want good security. We want everything to be all tight and good. So the first thing I did, though, was after I learned how to scan and with it, which is just a little bit different. It's no big deal. I went in to make sure that I could do all the YouTube Studio stuff and get, you know, figure out. It turned out to be a little easier than I thought in terms of photo. I had an operating system in the past that was horrid. I mean, it was 8 point something. It was so horrid, I couldn't find things. I couldn't make a document. I couldn't do anything. But that was a laptop that I didn't get locally. This is just a tower that I got from Dr. Nerd here locally. And so it was loaded with everything I needed in terms of, you know, open office. And I figured those things out the hard way in the past. But so it just feels like I've been running after the bus for a couple of weeks, but that's, you know, that's okay. That's mindset. I've got to just sort of, well, I do slow down every day, and I read at the end of the day and, you know, get calm and get, you know, settled with my cats and everything. But it's because, you know, everybody has the same 24 hours in every day, so I can't claim I don't have enough time, because I have exactly the same amount of time as everybody else. So, but the hobby really carries me during times like this. I've still been getting better, but I'm feeling really good now. I'm still not really wanting to lay down on this right side for very long, but I can. But the cough is better, and yeah, I just don't have pain anymore. But I had that complication from COVID that came like I don't know, 2 weeks after, you know, when I thought I was all better, I coughed until I hurt my side. So basically that's what happened. And now I do feel like I'm on the mend, you know, and hopefully it'll be more in one direction, in the better direction from here on, I hope. So I don't have anything organized because I am already a day late, and I didn't want to, tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day here, but next week, Tuesday, we're going to have an Arctic front, and so we're having to, you know, do some hardening outside, you know, covering some plants, and even doing a little bit of covering on the back so that cold air won't blow under the house on the part where the plumbing is. We always do that. We have the boards, we have everything ready. We just need to work on that. And I'll have to do laundry because my laundry room is not in a heated or cooled area. So there's no way I'm going out there in wind chills below 30 to do laundry. So I better get my act together. So I thought today I would do the video, and that way tomorrow I can run laundry and be ready for next week, because it's I don't know how Coco's going to survive. He and I really, we're the ones. We did bring a little carpet in to put in the living room, just a carpet piece, because his poor paws get cold. This kind of house is on pillars, so it's or pier and beam, I guess is the actual word for it. So the floors get quite cold, you know. We certainly keep the house warm with the gas furnace, but we, you know, with the central. But it's kind of a different story on the floor. So poor cat, you know. I feel like I need to buy him a sweater and some boots, you know, or something. He's always cold. So we'll just we've already canceled one appointment for next week, or rescheduled it. So we could be right here with him and keep him, you know, keep him warm and stuff. So I hope wherever you are that you're safe and happy and able to enjoy your hobby. And I will see you on the next video. I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to just share with you where I'm at. It's warts and all. I was being hard on myself because I haven't made the progress I wanted to make. But when I look at it the way I just did, I realize there's a lot there, and I've been inching along on everything. And I think it's the right move, really, to prioritize the letters, because I had thank yous to write, I had, you know, replies to make, and you know, the ink is going to be there. It's going to be there, and I'm going to just get more organized and get back into it, and it'll all work out, I think. So I will see you next time, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll meet in the comments, and I will devote as much time as I can to answering questions and just having discussions in the comments. So bye for now.